Okay, let's get into the friendliest AI robot ever shown on screen. The Wild Robot is directed by Chris Sanders. It is written by him and Peter Brown. Going into this film, I didn't know much. I think I had seen the trailers, but I forgot, man. And look, I watch a film usually based off the artist behind it. Chris Sanders directed one of my favorites films ever. I don't just mean animated, I mean like any. He directed How to Train Your Dragon. So when I heard that he was going to direct this one, obviously I was gonna watch it. I was gonna support my boy. And again, he hit that home run. Also, I don't know if you guys know this, but he directed Lilo and Stitch. His films have a lot of heart, and you could see it in this one as well. So The Wild Robot is about this robot named Roz. After a shipwreck, she's stranded on this uninhabited island. You know, it's not inhabited by humans, by robots, nothing. It's pure nature out there. So here's machine versus nature. Because she's pure machine, purely logical, rational, she doesn't know how to live there. The story is a lot about her learning how to survive in this harsh environment, connecting with the other animals there, and eventually being a mother to this orphaned little duckling. And that sounds funny to say, but that's what it's about, man. And on paper it sounds silly, but that's the power of film. That a movie like that, with that summary, I could move you to tears. Yeah. Starting off with the animation, wow. Beautiful animation. It felt like it was brush strokes, you know? Just gorgeous to look at this film. You can get a frame from it from most scenes. That's a good wallpaper right there, a good poster for your wall. Great use of this mixture of 3D and 2D animation, but it didn't resemble the Spider-Man films. It felt unique to itself, storybook wise. And DreamWorks has been doing things like this ever since Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. This is just gorgeous to look at, and the sound is amazing. It just complements that environment beautifully. You feel encapsulated and you feel completely in this world. You're convinced that you're there with Roz, and the visuals and sound have a huge part to play on that. It's obvious why this film got nominated for Best Sound in the Oscars. And speaking about that, the film is elevated to another level because of its soundtrack. The film score is beautiful. I mean, Chris Sanders knows how to direct film, but he also knows how to give direction in the sound department. How to Train Your Dragon got nominated for Best Soundtrack, if you guys remember. And here he does it again. Just give it a listen after the film. It's so good. It makes these scenes even more moving. And the heart of the story is Roz's relationship with Bright Bill. I'm not a parent, but I imagine those watching really resonated with this aspect of the story. It's a beautiful commentary on what it means to be a parent, where when Roz is full machine, her inability to connect with Bright Bill is at a max, which might be saying a lot about rationality and full logical and no empathy thinking playing a lot in struggling parenthood. Maybe. I don't know. But that's what I got from it. Because as the film goes on, as they get closer and closer, they do so because little by little, Roz becomes less machine. She's a robot throughout this film, but she becomes so much more human than you could have ever thought of. Building these connections and feeling these emotions that are not in her program. It's a lot, man, and it's deep. Also suggesting that a parent's love is very sacrificial for their kids, for their family. You know, there's a scene where in trying to help out Bright Bill, Roz loses a piece of herself. It could be a foot, for example. And for the rest of the film, she walks in this makeshift wooden foot. But she never walked the same as before, never as steady as before. I love those things, man. That's just so beautiful. Even if you're not a parent, there are elements in this film that you could recognize and, of course, empathize with. It did have me tearing up, to be honest, in the theater. Very beautiful story. The selflessness and the care that Roz grows into is a fascinating story arc. The gripes that I have with the film, although they're not strong, there are few. And it has to do with Bright Bill's character feeling a bit underwritten. He was never the hero of the story, but I wish they did touch on his character a little bit more. And an aspect of the film has to do with solely him towards the end of the film that felt distant from the center story that the director was trying to tell. But then what the film does is connect this all back to Roz And then it hits you again with those feels, with that music. And you're like, oh my gosh, stop it, stop it. This is definitely a movie I'd love to share with my kids. My girlfriend also really loved this movie too. It's powerful, it's saying a lot, and it's a visual masterpiece. Is Disney coming down from the Oscars this year? I think so. I think it's the best animated film of 2024. The way the film ended, it's insinuated that a sequel will come out. I hope so, man. And I hope with the same director, with the same team. I wouldn't be surprised if people call this their favorite DreamWorks film ever. It's just that good. It's that good. This film is a flat A for me. Touched my heart. Has a lot of soul. Has a lot of soul. Okay, this film is PG. There are a few explosions here and then. The cartoonish violence comes from these robots towards the end of the film. There are elements of the film that have to deal with death or near-death experiences, specifically for the animals throughout the story. And it's played for humorous effect, but it's also realistic in how often these animals are escaping death. The only element that I think could deter you from showing this to someone would be if it's a really small kid and the robots scare them. Maybe that. All right, thank you for watching. Please like, please subscribe. Let me know what your favorite DreamWorks film is. Put it down in the comments. What's your favorite DreamWorks one? We've got Megamind, Shrek, How to Train Your Dragon, Kung Fu Panda, The Wild Robot now. Let me know. Oh, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, underrated. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.